Wakey, wakey, smell those eggs and bakey. It's time for Breakfast Talk, a podcast discussing current, independent, and mainstream entertainment topics from gaming and movies to comics. Start your week off right with the Breakfast Boys. As always, if you can smell what we're cooking, click that like button, and if your tummies are rumbling for more, click subscribe and ring that brekkie bell to turn on all notifications. All right, let's talk.
He's like, I didn't know internet stuff.
I don't know.
All right, cool. So are we going to do like a transition before we switch to the spoiler alerts?
Yeah. So
Let's see it.
So yeah, what?
I want to see it. I know you got something prepped.
It's the same thing.
Jesus Christ, that was loud.
Yeah, it was.
Hector has no idea what just happened, but everyone who's
Scared
watching
his Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
I'll stay on.
yeah, for real. Like his wife, like he can see us now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that was like so loud. It's like, "Durr, durr." Dude, someone's at work and they have it turned down, and they're like, "Wait, are they saying something?" They turn it up right before that comes on. Blow out. They're next to the PSA, like the public service announcement mic, and they're at work. People are running out of work right now. They think their building's on fire. The gas leak's about to go.
We just started something right now.
I was gonna make another spoiler alert thing like that, but I was like, oh, I already got one, so I don't have to make one.
Greg, do you know what we should do? Like right after that spoiler alert's done, we should immediately have like the clip of the end of the movie. just to show someone gets shot in the back of the head, and you're like, oh my god, that was my favorite character. I didn't even know him. All right, real quick. So let's go back through our characters real quick, since that's the freshest thing in people's minds. Since they just watched our last one live or recorded, it doesn't matter. The point is, you've just watched it, and so the characters are fresh in your mind, and we want to tell you why we chose our characters. So Hector, why was King Shark the funniest character?
Well,
Tell me everything. Spoil him. That was great. He was that funny. Like I'll be honest. Like I didn't like exactly like you didn't think he could get that funny.
He hit it right on the head.
Yeah,
everything you just said.
Honestly, like I it's almost like Hector. Honestly, I thought you put on a mustache and I just didn't recognize you. That's what I thought happened.
See.
Literally, it's like the perfect timing every time. It's like,
I love it. It's great.
Hey, Hector, why don't you give me your really like important opinion right now?
And I'm looking for someone to see that I've got a lag switch under the table. Like I can't believe no one's guessed that yet.
This has got to be some kind of cosmic joke or of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the thinker's involved.
There's a what if timeline of you having internet that works.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe that timeline turns out worse, and this is the better timeline. Who knows? Fuck. Yeah. So King Shark was great because I think they just wrote him with like a lot of comedic timing. Obviously,
I can't see.
He wasn't like a dialogue driven type character, and when he did have dialogue, it was very much humorous. Like it didn't.
Just so you know what Greg and I are doing, we're putting our fingers on our lips like it's a mustache. Because King Shark, you remember that?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you can't see us.
Yeah, I know. That's why I had to describe it to him. We're over here doing it, and he's just talking away like we're not doing anything. I'm like, oh yeah, he can't see us.
Like he's in podcast land. He can't see anything.
I can't see nothing. I can't.
It's so fun because everyone who listens to this in audio, they're just like, "What the hell is he talking about?"
Yeah,
what the hell? Like I can't see him either.
Who can see him? You guys can see him. Anyway, yeah. So I just thought his comedic timing was like dead on, and because of the way King Shark has been portrayed and like iterations of comics and the different shows and stuff like that, he's kind of taken on just in general a more humorous tone. Like before he was like, like a very imposing character. He's a freaking living shark dude. You know what I mean? So it was just cool to see him kind of changed up in terms of the persona that he had in this time.
I also didn't know like he was like bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I just for whatever reason I didn't remember that. Like the second it happened, like I was like, oh yeah, like he is supposed to be like super strong. Like I didn't think about that, but I thought that was very cool because like even when those like when those remember the leeches, like those freaking weird ass like alien looking things, they were making him bleed. Dude, I thought he was gonna get eaten. Like I thought like there's 3 different times I thought he was gonna die. Like and obviously we're in spoiler alert world now. Like, he doesn't die, but you think it the whole movie. Like, there's 3 or 4 times that like something happens. You're like, he's definitely gonna die now. And like that one scene where those like the little sucker things were on him, there was so much blood at one point. I'm like, oh my god, they just like eat him like to shreds. Like they went from like almost killing him to now he's like disintegrated. I was like, holy shit. So like, yeah, like it definitely didn't turn out that way. So I was glad. He's definitely like, I if they make a second one of these, I hope he's like involved somehow, even if he's not like throughout the whole thing, because he was definitely great.
I think they should keep this team. Like they should keep this team going forward. It's a good team, solid team. Okay, so next one.
Oh, next one was your coolest character, Bloodsport. So why was he the coolest character?
Honestly, just Idris Elba. I think he played the role so well. He had the kind of like serious but detached kind of mannerisms to him, where it was like he was the most serious, down to earth, like realistic character, but he still had those like moments of levity where he just didn't really care so much, and that was kind of like opening up these comedic doorways. The whole competition with Bloodsport, with Peacemaker, and the fact that they have the same power sets.
It's like you're literally like me. It's a better. I can use. Remember, he's like I can hit more in the center. It's like how smaller bullets. That was probably one of the best. Yeah. Was that the full circle thing you were talking about?
There was two. I think there was actually probably a lot more full circle moments if you really think about it.
But what was the one you mentioned in the spoiler free section?
I'm sorry. What's his name? I'm the one who remembered his actual name, and now I can't remember it.
What was he involved in? Was he in the Office? Was he one of the super villains? What was he?
Yeah, the first villain. Michael Rooker's character.
Oh.
Yeah, so we just talked about
Michael Rooker's character. Savant. Yeah,
Savant. There you go. See, okay.
Savant. What was his name?
So at the beginning, he kills a bird, and it was like that yellow bird, and then at the end, the bird was eating him. So it was like that.
Yes, I got you. Yeah.
That was it. But yeah. So I just thought in general he was a cool character. He had a lot of like the slingshot thing from his wrist. I thought that was fucking dope. Like his weapon types. Like he had even though I thought it was really weird, there's like these key looking guns. Like, what the fuck is this? But it was still like different. It was cool because it was different. And then, he just pulling together these different parts from his thing. And I thought actually one of the coolest parts to me was seeing him run out of weapons, because he's like looking all over his body, like trying to figure out if he has anything else.
One of those Deadpool moments where like he's reaching into his bag of infinite weapons. He's like, wait, what the hell? I didn't know this could run out. Like it was kind of, or like a Batman moment, because like Batman always has something on his utility belt that he didn't end up using yet. And for like the first time, like somebody who's like that, he's like, wait, what? I'm empty.
I ran out. Shit.
And it's funny because he doesn't make it humorous either. Like he just keeps going. He's like, oh shit, like I'm out of stuff. So yeah, it was definitely
and yeah, just his look in general. I thought the mask was fucking dope. Yeah, he was probably the most illest looking character out of all of them. Like the most serious, like kind of badass looking character out of all the characters. So that's why.
It's interesting because like the one thing I noticed was that even though they had famous actors in it, all of the actors in it are broad enough that I could not think of another role they're in while watching the movie. I think that was probably one of the best things about the movie was like, other than like John Cena, just because like wrestling immediately, outside of that, every other character while watching the movie, I believed they were that character. I didn't think, oh yeah, this kind of reminds me of when they were that other character. Like,
no, honestly, yeah, casting was
perfect. Like, because Will Smith like took away from it. Like Will Smith, love him, great actor. Like, but like he's such a big prominent character. First off, he's not going to die. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be the major part of a movie where he dies and it's like the Suicide Squad. So because of that, like it kind of takes away from like that chance where like Bloodsport, if he died, like it would have sucked, but like I could have seen it happening. Right, like being the guy who sacrificed himself at the end. Like I could have seen him, jumping into that star thing, the butthole.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the funniest things. Like
full
that
circle moment.
Oh yeah, but that's definitely such a I agree. All right, worst character you selected El Presidente.
Yeah, because again, he just felt super unnecessary. Like I felt like okay, so I get that they were like playing off tropes, right? So like you have this like rich character, and like he just has all these tropes kind of involved with him. He's like this, kind of
You know
narcissist.
what Harley gets?
Huh?
You know the one that Harley takes out?
Yeah. And they're setting up a villain and then destroying the villain before it becomes like he's not the center point of the movie, but like essentially like they're setting him up like he is going to be the center point villain, and then they kill him off. So like they're subverting expectations all the way through, and I thought that was cool. But at the same time, it did feel really pointless because like comparatively, right? So when you saw the general for the first time, and then when you saw him for the first time, you're like, okay, I guess they're kind of on equal footing, but this guy's obviously the evil one, right? The general dude, right? So like I could always see him being the main evil
like the other didn't even have to die. He still could have just taken over. Yeah, I got you.
Exactly.
It's kind of like Gohan going Mystic Gohan. Like it didn't matter. Goku still came back and beats Majin.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, to me, it just didn't make enough. Like, he didn't make enough difference, and I felt like maybe they should have made him like a meta of some kind, like, and that would have been, I guess, more interesting. Like, that would have gave him a more interesting role. Like, maybe he like he's the shapeshifter or something like that, and he was the general and the president. So like that would have been cool. Because that would have been like he could have played both roles. He could have been like the heartthrob, prince, and then the evil guy at the same time, and that might have been super interesting. But
it's
whatever.
Funny. I agree with the fact that like the other guy they play up. I actually think it was kind of funny that they just kill him, right? Like it was so quick, and you're like, by the time it does happen, you kind of see it coming, but you don't see it coming immediately. Like so they did that well, and then it was kind of funny. It's like, oh, you're dead. Like I just listen to my heart whenever like it says this. Like red flag killing kids. Like that's not good, right? Like,
no, yeah, and it gives that's another full circle moment I think from all these movies was that Harley has this like growth kind of arc through these movies, and it kind of again she's like now getting over like if you watch Birds of Prey, she's kind of talking through. She talks through her like interest for the Joker, and like it's like this whole like toxic relationship dynamic that they're just talking about in Birds of Prey, and then it seems like she's now worked through that toxic dynamic.
That's pretty interesting.
So yeah, it's kind of a full circle moment. So that's why I don't think this is an actual reboot of Suicide Squad because it's the same character throughout. Like it's 1, 2, 3. So it definitely is like a continuation. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after because there was. Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
All right, yeah. So then the last one, the best character, Polka Dot Man. First off, who is Polka Dot Man?
What do you mean?
Describe Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man, because we're doing a podcast, right? So Polka Dot Man is the most dullest looking character. He has the campiest kind of costume and
it looks like he's a painter. He looks like a painter and a janitor wearing like,
with some goggles, and some gauntlets.
And goggles. He's gonna go fly a 1950 airplane.
Exactly. He's very like he's out of place, right? Like so he's a very out of place character. You never know what his power set is, and you're like, what the hell? And they're talking about he throws polka dots at people, and you're like, how is this gonna be relevant? And the fact that they make him pretty much the most powerful and deadly characters. Aside from another character, which is like they're both kind of playing on this like I'm very non-imposing, and then at the end like you are very imposing. So and the fact that like again the actor was really really good. He had this whole like dynamic with his mom where he was like
everyone was his mom. The starfish dude.
And he was able to like
smashing through the building.
He's obviously got some like some crazy stuff going on, like some actual diagnosable kind of stuff going on, and he's very much like I hope we die, like I hope none of us lives.
Kind of thing. What was it? Bloodsport's like, oh, we're all gonna die, and he's like, oh, I sure hope.
Oh
so.
God, I hope so.
You know what I liked a lot about him too, actually, was the fact that he mentions he's one of multiple siblings.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good like setup for another movie, like to find one of those siblings or to bring one of them in. Like it's very interesting.
And so he actually has a hero arc, which is funny because like he's like a tortured soul. He gets empowered with these things he doesn't necessarily want. He's like the most humble one. Somebody makes fun of him in the prison. He doesn't go after them. He just kind of lets it pass. So like he's actually the most heroic one. And then he's like the moment he self-actualizes and goes like, I'm actually a hero. Like, I'm a fucking hero.
I'm a hero, Mom.
Bam! That's it. So
it was the perfect ending to a perfect arc.
Yeah, great character. Just the best character in the movie. I mean, there was a lot of, like, again, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was super fun. It didn't take itself serious, but it moved at a really good pace. It added something to the DCEU when you're talking about like character development, and then also like this is an event. This is one of those Marvel events that you can ripple into the rest of like the DCEU. So like, again, I felt like it was a really, really good movie in a lot of different ways. And James Gunn played so well on all the different, aspects of the characters that he was given with this, specific movie title and franchise. So yeah.
Again, I almost want to adjust my number to 7.5, but only the people watching live are going to remember that I said 6.5. But I'm actually glad I said 6.5 because I want somebody in the comments to be like, "That son of a bitch."
Exactly. We're just going to do that from now on. We're just going to be like,
I want to be controversial on purpose. Just like,
the Snyder Cut was terrible. I fucking hated every second of that 4 hours.
Every friggin' act starts off with a name. What kind of stupid thing is that? Like, oh yeah, so the spoiler alert on that. So basically, in this movie too, which we'll get to a little bit later, that like the transition scenes I was mentioning earlier, like those were phenomenal. So just to describe them, essentially every transition scene would start with something like fire in the background, or like roots, or like buildings, but they would be in the shape of like a phrase. So it'd be like, and now we go to save, or what was the one where it said, before it said Harley, it was like blow up the tower, and then it was like, and then like it was the fire, and they're like, oh no, we actually meant save Harley. Like, like they put out the flames.
It's like chapters in a graphic novel. That's kind of what it felt
they basically like Deadpooled the Justice League. Like that's what they did. They were basically like making fun of it, which is perfect. Like it was such a good, like, every scene had like this clever little, like, coming next, and like it would describe it, and like
in the elevator, like I said last episode,
it's like Kill Bill too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly.
But in the elevator it says dirty little secrets, and then that's where they air like all their dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool.
No, it was definitely like a really cool thing. All right, so Greg, your funniest character, Peacemaker. What was his funniest line in the movie?
Probably the dicks all over the beach.
I forgot about that.
He's like,
I would gladly for liberty.
It's like I fight for peace, even if that means I have to kill every single living person to get it.
I thought you were the crazy one. I am.
Yeah, that little line was great. Yeah,
just killed dicks.
No. What did Bloodsport say? He's like, something like, go, like, if this whole beach was full of dicks, I'd make you eat them up or something. Yeah. He's like, I would do it gladly for peace and justice.
And then Bloodsport says, I think that peace thing is just a way for you to get away with,
to justify.
Yeah.
To eat a beach of dicks.
And he wears a helmet that's like a toilet.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It looks ridiculous. It looks like it was meant to be like a gladiator style or like, Roman style helmet, but it looks like he bought it at like Costco.
No, he got it off Wish. That's what happened.
Oh, you know what I was gonna say though? That was probably one of the coolest scenes in the movie, was when him and Rick are fighting, and you see the reflection of it in his helmet. Yeah, that was cool. One of the coolest cinematic like pieces in the whole movie, where like he gets the helmet knocked off, and when he stands back up, it just does that like that slow pan across the helmet. Like that was such an epic.
Science.
Yeah, the water. The cups. Yep, exactly. Yeah, the only thing I wish they did is like it immediately cut to them fighting. I kind of wish it was like one of them kicking the helmet at the other. I kind of like, I feel like that's the only thing I wish that was going to happen, was like the helmet moving is what would have transitioned the fight scene. Because you know what I mean? Like it just did a pan around it, and then it just cut to them fighting, and I was like, I was hoping like, I don't know, explosion or something would happen and move the helmet, and that's why the scene would move. So like that's the director or cinematic advice.
I'll write a letter to James Gunn telling you that you're disappointed about it.
The way that it was done too, it almost felt like that's what they were going to do, and then maybe they did it and it didn't look that good. Like that's almost like what it felt like, because it cut so quick that I felt like there was a missing scene. Like that's what I mean. Like that's why I feel like the helmet getting moved in some way. Like even if it was like the ground cracking and it fell over, and as it fell over, it panned over, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we're about to fall!" Like whatever. So like that'd have been cool. All right, so coolest character, Greg, Bloodsport. What is the coolest thing that he did?
I just like how all the guns are like.
I know what was the coolest thing he did? What was the thing in the movie where you're like, "Oh, he's a badass"?
Everything he does is pretty cool.
He's like, wow, I didn't even watch the movie. What's like one scene though that you were like, that was pretty freaking epic?
Yelling at his daughter.
That's brutal, Greg.
Yeah, right?
People that are right now crying on the podcast, they're like, "What just happened?"
I don't even have a father.
My dad's in prison.
I don't know. I like all his weapons and just how he acts as a character in general. So
I would say the coolest, funniest thing that he did was when they went to go save Harley, and he's about to scale the wall, and she looks out, and he's like already like 4 steps up the wall, looking over, and he stays there like for way too long.
I like the freedom fighters like headquarters kind of thing, and like him and Peacemaker are kind of like like competing with each other, and then the leader of the freedom fighters is like, I have a camp full of freedom fighters. How do they not notify me? They're like,
they weren't here.
And then
no one was here.
Like, I turned him into my mother and killed her.
I forgot about that. That line was
honest.
My favorite that whole scene with that, like the going through the camp and like just murdering them. See, it was so funny too. Like that was done really well because they were killing them so nonchalantly. That's what made it so like ridiculously hilarious after. Because like these two were just like walking through and just destroying an entire camp of quote bad guys that turned out to be the resistance.
Like
but my favorite one was
like explosive bullet, motherfucker.
Yep, exactly. And then the other one was the fan. Remember, he shoots it, knocks the fan over in the tub, and gets electrocuted. Yeah, there's some pretty epic stuff. So, no, I would definitely say, that was a pretty cool scene. Yeah. All right, worst character, and now you can explain it and spoiler alert it. Mangala.
She literally kind of kills a character I didn't want to die. So that kind of
right.
She jumps onto the helicopter.
She actually kills a ton of people too. Like she's probably the most deadly.
If she didn't do that, like the trees or the bamboo, whatever the fuck, got stabbed in the Captain Boomerang, like he probably wouldn't have died. Well, besides the explosion of the helicopter
or the chopping up of the blades. Yeah. The blades come at him, dude. There wasn't an explosion.
He was in a fucking blender.
And like, really? You had to kill him of like all people? Why did
do you know what was interesting though? He was a different character though. He was in the first one. That's the only reason I think it's a slight reboot, because it could just be a continuation of Birds of Prey.
Continuation just because like how her character is like growing.
But my question would be Birds of Prey, because I didn't see that. Is it obvious that that's after the first one, the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, it's just
like you're certain it is.
It's when she gets out, like basically, like how they escaped from Waller the first time.
Yeah.
So they reference it. She's like, "Oh, I didn't. Like, how'd you end up back in jail?" Remember, Flag says that, and also she says, "Yeah, Flag was my friend." Well, how did they become friends?
Was Flag in Birds of Prey?
No, that's what I'm saying. He was in Suicide Squad,
the original one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
And Harley mentions as she's getting onto the helicopter, helicopter, whatever, that she knows Captain Boomerang too. She's like, "Oh, hey, Booma," and
Booma.
So she wouldn't have known him if they never met. So.
Yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. But that was definitely a different actor, though, wasn't it?
No, that's
Boomerang.
Same guy.
Really, he just looked different then. Like he didn't look like I remember. It's been a while since I've seen him.
Maybe he had more of a Australian accent than
no, physically looked different. Like his face looked different. Maybe he had a scruffier beard, and this time it was pretty trimmed. I just don't like. I didn't immediately recognize.
Kind of looked homeless in the first one.
Yeah,
he kind of looks a little thinner. Like I don't know why.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like he looked like a different person. But yeah, it could have just been he was thinner and like a shorter beard because he's been in prison and he got some wins under his belt or whatever.
He had his moments though, like on the helicopter ride. He's like, "You think that's a fucking dog?"
All right.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of breed do you think that is? And then what's his face?
I don't know.
It's a fucking werewolf.
It's a fucking werewolf. I didn't agree to be with a werewolf.
I don't fuck with werewolves.
Yeah, I don't fuck with werewolves.
I kind of didn't want Pete
He
Davidson.
said it like he's been around them before. That was great.
I didn't want Pete Davidson to die, but I kind of knew he was going to die because
I did. I thought that was funny.
He's not like super important, so I'm like, he's probably gonna die.
I mean, like, I think it's funny that they put him in there and then killed him. Like, that was great. Like, it was just one of those things where you're like, is he gonna be a big part of this? And then I was like,
yeah, like in the second Deadpool, spoilers. In the second Deadpool, Brad Pitt was the invisible dude.
Yeah, Invisible Man.
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that is perfect. Like, that's such a brilliant way to do it. Like, you can, like, that's why it would have been funnier if Will Smith was somebody else in the first one and like died in the first 10 seconds. But they can't do that with Will. And the reason why, by the way, that was what I was saying earlier. The reason why Will Smith isn't going to die in a movie because he costs too much to be in a movie. They're going to pay him $20 million to kill him off that quick. Like, never. Like, that'll never happen.
He'd
right?
Be known as like the actor to get $20 million for like 4 seconds.
Yeah, but wait, who was the Invisible Man again?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Yeah, I almost said Ben Affleck. I'm like, it's not Ben Affleck. Brad Pitt. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the point. It's like you get someone like that. Like, if he's willing to do a quick role like that, that's funny. Like, you know, he's like, cool. I'm gonna be in a Deadpool movie. I don't know how much he got paid, but if it was like a small amount, that'd be cool. Like, he just gets to go in, gets worked real quick. It's such a great way. And honestly, Milton. So now the spoiler for Milton. Like, Milton, honestly, he's like, who was the guy with that didn't die when they parachuted in Deadpool? The guy with no powers, remember?
Yeah. I forget his name.
He's basically a Milton, though, is the whole idea. It's like this character that, like, why the hell is he here? And, like, Milton, like, it's just this character with no powers. He's just there for, like, way too long, to the point where even you forget he's there until they make it prominent that he's there, and then they immediately kill him.
I have never met Milton. Who is Milton?
Listen, I'm pretty sure I'd remember a Milton. I don't even know anyone called Milton. And then later she's called him Bloodshot Milton. Like, we got this Milton. It's like, I'm not Milton.
Aren't you Milton?
We had a whole conversation about it.
A whole conversation about you being Milton.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty funny moment. All right, and then the best character you said was the rat catcher, too.
Yeah, because her dad's pretty cool and is the doppelganger of Hector. So
the doppelganger of Hector.
Yeah, he had like a picture on Instagram or something. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, I look like White
TT. That's crazy. Yeah. Or he's Korg, if you want to call him as that.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
No, that's not Korg.
White TT sure?
He plays Korg.
I don't think that's Korg. I think that's this guy from Yes Man.
Want to say that? Why?
The voiceover actor is like the bank manager from Yes Man.
Is it? I thought he played Korg.
He directed. Like no. YTT directed that.
Yeah. Motion capture is Korg. Motion capture is Korg. Let's see. And Suicide Squad. Yeah, he was in both.
Yeah.
So
YTT played the voiceover actor?
Yeah.
For Korg?
Oh man, I don't know about the voice. I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about.
He did the motion. No, he's CGI. He did motion capture for him.
Okay.
He's CGI. It is him. Like it's not somebody else. It's just CGI.
I'm talking about the voiceover.
Yeah, the voice. Because
I don't know if he did the voice, but he did the motion capture for Korg.
That's dope. He also directed that movie too.
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm hoping that's his voice too for just that character.
I was saying having memorable done.
But yeah, Ratcatcher 2 was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if he did the voice. It just says I'm looking at it right now. He did the motion capture suit as Korg, so he acted as Korg. But I don't know if he did the voice. Huh. Yeah, and then he was the original Ratcatcher.
Get on a spaceship and get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see the Deadpool trailer?
Yeah.
Korg
is sitting next to him? Free guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see that because, dude, they're doing so much. Dude, he is such a great promoter. So I drink all that G Fuel I mentioned before, that powdered energy drink. So I have way too much of it, and just for the visual people, I have like just tubs of it back there. I've got to have 20-something tubs of G Fuel, and like that's not okay. But the point is that they do like these brand deals with people, and I've never seen like it moves so fast. That movie came out and they launched a free guy G Fuel called what was it, like Fruit Blast or something like that, or I don't know what it was, but they immediately released one. I'm like, damn, like they've been doing so much promo. Like I remember they were promoting that, what was it, 2 years ago, and then COVID happened, so they paused the release, and now they waited till theaters to open back up, and then they're going hardcore. They got Deadpool promoting it. Like that was such a brilliant turnaround. Like they're doing. Yeah, I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that movie at some point because I do want to see that movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it soon.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to go through mine. I've got funniest as Peacemaker, and I just have to say, like, throughout the whole movie, every single tense scene was broken by him until the most tense scene, which he causes, which is great. That's why I was saying, like, he's also my,
because he's thorough.
He's thorough, yeah. Basically, like right off the bat, like one of the things that breaks the tension in the movie extremely hardcore was that line where they're like Project Starfish and they didn't know what it was about, and they're like, sir, Starfish is also like a nickname for the butthole. Is there anything to do with that? And it's like, what? It was like
random.
It was so random, so confident that it was just perfect. And like throughout the rest of it, yeah, like I'm willing to kill as many people, women and children, whatever I need to for peace. Like it was like, what the fuck? Like he had so many lines like that throughout the whole thing.
Well, what's funny too is like Bloodsport. He was like, no one needs to eat a beach full of dicks, bro. Like no one needs to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And like he like throughout the whole thing, like he's just so hardcore about it. Yeah, like where and like the scene. What was the scene I was talking about where they're going through and killing everybody? He's like, or no, right in the beginning when he's like, oh yeah, so you're basically just like me. I thought you said this team was unique. And he's like, I am unique. I'm better than you. It's like, I am you, but I'm better. And then it's like, what do you mean? It's like, I hit dead center shots. He's like, yeah, but I hit more center. What does that even mean? Smaller bullets, and then I go right through the hole of your bullet. I don't touch the sides. Like, it's stupid. And then obviously they had the full turnaround when Bloodsport at the end of the movie, because we haven't even described what actually happens. They both shoot at each other, and you're like, oh man, their bullets are going to bounce off each other because they both shoot dead center. And instead, Bloodsport, I always want to say Bloodsport actually uses a smaller bullet and shoots through the center of Peacemaker's bullets and actually hits him and clips him in the shoulder. Like it was such an epic, like, yeah, it's very, very cool. It's like, how did you do that? Smaller bullets. Like, yeah, so he's definitely the funniest, coolest character, Rick Flag. Like I was saying, I think like he's kind of like just a badass throughout the movie in the sense that he's just like Bloodsport is cool, but like over the top cool. I on purpose. Like I like that. It's cool, but I think Rick Flag is like just this awesome character that he's leading the team. You think he's dead, he comes back. Like he's very doing the right thing, like that kind of thing. That's what I mean. Like he's just like the true like ironically like what Peacekeeper says he is. You know what I mean? Like he's the one that will actually do what's necessary for truth and justice, that kind of thing. And when he fights Peacemaker, first off, or Peacekeeper, like no, it's Peacemaker. I keep doing it. Damn, these names are like so close to so many things. Peacemaker. His scenes when he's fighting him, like, dude, he's freaking strong as hell launching, because Rick is just a normal guy, right? He's just a soldier, right? Like he is getting tossed around, and he's like still like like when he's like trying to choke him out with like the metal bar, and he finally gets stabbed with the ceramic tile, like dude, even the look on his face where he's like, no, like I can't do anything, right? And like the fact that the rat catcher too was there to like see this, like it was like, I don't know, I feel like he was that character that helped keep everything solidified, moving stuff forward, and like you feel really bad when he dies. Like you weren't quite sure if that's how it was going to happen, right? He could have been trapped, maybe something else, like maybe like he'd escaped, but like seriously wounded. Like, dude, that guy's dead. Like it showed the Mortal Kombat X-ray attack of his heart getting stabbed with the ceramic. First off, that was also awesome because like when that happened, that's the first thing I thought. I'm like, oh my god, he's got Mortal Kombat fatality over there. Like, dude, I swear to God, whoever made that, like decided on that, plays Mortal Kombat. There's no way. Like somebody saw that and they're like, these X-rays are over the top. People would die when this happens. And he's like, yeah, they would. Like, we should put that in Suicide Squad and show when somebody gets dead, like they're actually dead. Like, oh, yeah, there goes Hector. But yeah, I definitely think that made him a really cool character, though. Just somebody like, because you actually do miss him. Like, that's like, oh shit. Worst character. I'm gonna double down on your manga. I definitely agree. There was somebody else too. I was thinking of. Oh, he's in here twice. That was weird.
Yeah.
Are you good? Is he frozen? No, I see him.
He's there.
Damn, there's somebody else I wanted to say is worst character. Oh, this was somebody. I don't think it was the worst character, but I think they could have picked someone better than the Thinker.
Oh.
I wanted to say that earlier, but I feel like
to, not die because
well, no, that's exactly what I mean. I almost chose him as worst character, but it would have been a spoiler alert. Like he didn't do anything of any significance. Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw him joining again.
Leading out of this.
Oh, gotcha. Anyways, but I feel like he really didn't do anything other than the fact the starfish happened because of him, but we don't see him do any of that, and then suddenly he's dead. It didn't make any sense. I felt like he was an unnecessary character in the movie, and I didn't want to say that earlier because was he in the trailers?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
They tease him as being in the movie. I thought he was going to be somehow part of the Suicide Squad. But,
yeah, that's what I mean. They could it would have been better if he got captured and then he could have been in the next Suicide Squad. But, even his,
he's like a villain that you would want to be in a movie, another movie.
It just seemed like he didn't do anything in this one. And I'll be honest, even the visuals, the stuff stuck in his head, it seemed very fake. I don't know why. It very much reminded me of someone in that was an extra in a Deadpool movie where it's intentionally not done well. And I almost wonder if it's because they knew he was going to die, so they weren't going to spend a ton of time making him look really cool because they didn't. The things that literally they show him back in the day and he's got 3 tubes in his head, and then later he's got 10. And
I think the last season of The Flash that I watched had the Thinker, and he was an okay looking one.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It seemed although I'll still say Mangala was an unnecessary character. Although ironically, like I said, she was she was terrible, but without her, 3 people wouldn't have died. We needed them to die. So it's instead of having them get killed by the soldiers, which they should be able to defend themselves against since they're supervillains, instead they had a supervillain that went a little too rogue. And then the other one I was going to say was ironically the character, the first character, Savant. I didn't like how much of a bitch he was when he died. That seems so over the top. This guy's a badass. He breaking birds' necks. I know, but it seemed over the top. I don't know. The rest of the movie was great after that, and didn't they show his blood to write wasn't that one of the first transitions too? With the blood. Mm-hmm. So I get it. Maybe they just wanted that and the cool little bird coming around to kill him or eat him. But it's weird because that bird doesn't belong on that island.
Because I think what the whole point of that was the whole so the Savant was the first character you saw. He kind of had this real serious mug to him. Oh, yeah. Michael Rourke,
Yes.
And it's meant to this whole team,
everyone's
the first team. Yeah, they were just cannon fodder, and everybody knew it.
Yeah, even the first guy, and that's why they hide Rick. You know what I mean? They make it even Rick's gone, and obviously Harley's gonna live, but it's one of those things where you think she might be the only one, and that actually would make sense, and still Rick lives, so that was kind of cool. And then spoiler, the end credits, Weasel's still alive.
Yeah.
And I was God damn it! Anyone else could have came back. What a stupid character.
Are you guys aware of the end scene, the end credit scene?
Was there a second one?
Yeah, there's a post credit scene.
What was after the post credit scene?
All right, go ahead, Greg.
Peacemaker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. That's right after that. That's in the same thing.
I watched to the very end because I saw someone said, "Oh, there's a post credit scene." They only said that there's one guy that makes Ace.
Yeah, but I thought the Weasel thing was the end of. Maybe I'm crazy. Either way, I know what you're talking about.
Movie. That's the
end. Weasel. It was Weasel, and then it went to the it went
credits
or whatever, and then it went to a hospital, and I was like, wait, what? And
it wasn't that long of a. I just waited. I didn't even leave. I was already standing up waiting for everything to be done. Work. Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So that was one of the interesting things. Yeah, Peacemaker. When he gets shot through the bullet with that smaller bullet, he dies, right? And so later, when they show up, there goes Hector. Later, when they show, the Weasel getting out of coughing up water and then just running off into the woods, which was the thing that was interesting about that too, is that remember they showed Weasel dead on the chart. Remember that? Like they showed the people going red, like the Suicide Squad team members dying, and they weren't hitting any buttons. They were dying because like their tag was reading them as dead.
Yeah.
So it was actually interesting that Weasel came back because I wonder if he's no longer tracked. Like if they pulled up the data, they would find him, but like they're not intentionally tracking. They probably took him off the roster.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting because like he'd be an interesting character, like to come in mid to halfway through this like as a follow-up movie and ruin something on like accidentally because they weren't tracking him. They're like, where the fuck does this Weasel come from? Where's his thing? And they can't find like the button to kill him. You know what I mean? Because he's not registered in the log anymore, and they're trying to get rid of him. And he's like causing like that would be a really funny way to use him again. Because other than that, he was like an annoying little character. Yeah, I would definitely say. I didn't like that the Savant like ran away like such a bitch. Like I wish there was some other way. Like maybe you know what I mean? Because he could have tried to escape, and maybe he was just like, "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving. I'm not just gonna die." Right? Instead, he was like, like whining. It was so ridiculous. And I guess it was kind of funny. Like, so I'll get if that was meant to be a comedic scene, like sure. But like if it was meant to be like oh my god, we're going to kill somebody, you know, like it seemed a bit. He seemed a bit over the top dramatic about it. It was very weird.
Well, it was better like how he died than when in the original Suicide Squad, like Slipknot, he like kind of went to go do his own thing and went against the
Slipknot.
He was the Native American.
The Native American dude.
What happened though? I forgot how he died.
He tried to escape.
He just tried to escape, and
yeah,
it was just a show like, oh, they have like the control, like they can blow you up if they want.
Yeah. That's kind of what I mean. Like when they show like, oh, we can kill you. Like we've already seen the first Suicide Squad. We know they can do that. So to show it in this one unnecessarily seems weird. So that's why I mean, like I wish it was like him doing something other than like, like he was like whining. Like also,
I think it was
like looking back at it now, it's more funny than anything, but it was just weird. Like I just like it felt awkward. The movie moves right on after that, so it didn't bother me too much. And it shows the cool blood transition scene, so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so I kind of forgot about it, but it's still something that sat with me the rest of the movie. Right?
I think it was more like the whole like horrors of war kind of thing. Like they were trying to make it like
that's what I mean. Like this guy's supposed to be a super.
Oh my god! But I mean, he obviously wasn't a top tier villain anyway. Like he was in prison for a while. Like nobody even knows who Savant is really. So
that's what I mean. That's why it was funny. Like I guess that, yeah. In that light, it does make it more funny than it does ridiculous. Where it's like this kid, they make him look super serious and he kills
exactly.
a bird, but like he's so dumb. Like he's actually really afraid. And, like,
yeah, he's in the end he's just a coward. I mean, the entire time that they're on the beach, he's just standing there, like he's not doing anything. Like
he's watching everyone get murked.
Yeah.
Too. So I'll say this too: the most worthless supervillain. So this one wasn't one of the categories, but because of this particular one, the most worthless is that one with the floating arms.
The detachable kid.
Wait, DK for the detachable kid? What the fuck?
Dude, it's so great, dude. It was like the dumbest power ever. And like, yeah, he's just like slapping them. I think the funniest thing was just how long it took for those guys to like shoot the arms or him standing 20 yards away. They've got machine guns, like 40 of them, and they just waited until the hands came all the way up to them and started slapping them. Like, get out of here! And then they start shooting the arms, and he's on the ground going,
yeah, exactly.
So like he was funny, but like one of the most worthless superpowers. Like, could you imagine like getting that power and being like, damn,
I think it was the funniest thing because it was like they made it so like you would imagine that okay, he's releasing these arms from him and like just somehow they're gonna have more strength. You know what I mean?
Like they're gonna
fly through the air. Yeah, but
it's just like they're almost weaker.
Yeah, but because there's no weight to them. It's like your arm, like how much force can you generate?
It's almost like they were weaker taking him off. Like he would have been better running into battle. But like instead of like poking them in the eyes or like getting them at the throat, he was like slapping them. Like
he just like bitch slapped them.
He was just like annoying them. Like it wasn't even like walk. It was like a 360
Mongols came in and killed the rest of them. That's what happens. Like he's basically like, "Hey guys, I distract them. You guys okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I got this." Just like mows down. And she also took out like a ton of bad guys, or bad guys too. But like it was crazy, like how ridiculous he was. And then so then again, my last one's the best character. I got to give it to Peacemaker again. And the reason I give it to Peacemaker is because, yeah, he's one of the funniest characters. He's also just a badass in a lot of the stuff that he does. The the fact that he's the one that goes dark. I almost forgot that should be if you look at it, if I watch the movie again, I would realize at some point oh yeah, one of these guys has to be the bad guy of bad guys, like in Mortal Kombat Kano, right? There's got to be a Kano that turns on people, and I just didn't I wasn't thinking about it at that point. And so when once the card came out, they're like, oh my god, this has the footage of all the stuff that's going on. I was like, oh shit, Peacemaker's the bad guy. So it was it was kind of interesting to see all that happen. It was cool how all that happened. It actually sucked to see him die. I was actually disappointed. I'm like, damn, he would be a really cool follow-up bad guy, or to branch off. Yeah, I know. And then the end credit scene, I was like, damn, that was good. It got me. I thought he was dead. Because it's the other thing is kind of like the Will Smith thing. He's John Cena. He's big. He's not so big. They could kill him off.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things damn, they might do that. I was like, it was kind of cool. He played an epic role. He was super funny, and they took him out. And instead, they kept him.
I saw dude that plays Bloodsport. I can never say his name, so I'm not going to do that.
Elba.
Yeah. He just wants to get the rundown from Jim. He actually pitched a movie idea of a prequel to the Suicide Squad, and it's him fighting Superman. So
yeah,
that would be epic. That's what I mean. This Suicide Squad opened up a really cool world. It definitely made it so I expect other things to branch off of it, not just Suicide Squad.
I also just thought of there's the Flash movie coming out, and it's
Flashpoint.
So all of those characters that did die, they could come back.
Yeah, well, remember what? Damn it, Batman from not Batman Forever? Batman and Robin? No,
Michael Keaton.
Keaton. Is it Batman Forever? Yeah. So Michael Keaton's gonna be in it as Batman. That's fucking that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a ton of stuff they can do with that, and it's kind of funny because I remember hearing was it Kevin Feige talking about the fact that he was mentioning all the MCU stuff that's connected, and at one point it got brought up that literally, so Thor is a playable character in Fortnite. And they now count Fortnite as one of the universes in the MCU.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a couple other things like that. All the Spider-Mans are in it. There's they're going to be bringing that up at some point where they want to get was it Tobey Maguire and the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name.
Andrew Garfield.
Garfield. Yeah. They want to get them in a movie, and that's kind of super interesting how they can branch on that. And it almost seems like the DCU is trying to get into that faster. Honestly, after watching this Suicide Squad, and Marvel did it, they started Iron Man, then they did who was after Iron Man?
Thor.
Thor,
Captain America. Yeah. Captain America.
Yeah.
Captain America was the second movie?
I think so, yeah. And then it was Thor.
Are you trying to think of timeline wise or when?
Yeah, timeline wise. Yeah. So anyways, so it's Iron Man, Captain America, they're doing one-offs. Yeah. This was a really cool way to create a whole universe without giving us all the superheroes. I wish that they started with this Suicide Squad and then tried to create a DC universe. I think that would be a fantastic way to build up the universe.
This is actually a pretty cool restarting point for them.
100%. It would be excellent. I want to see a world where one of them breaks out, they somehow remove the chip, and then they introduce a Batman or a whatever.
Do you guys know that there's going to be a miniseries of Peacemaker on HBO Max?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's
John Cena.
Really
that's
could
why they had that credit scene with him.
Yeah, with John
Cena. That's
Cena.
really cool. But that's what I mean. They could immediately do you know how they have the DC shows on Warner or
Titans.
CW? Yeah, honestly, I would love to see them do that with villains. Introduce the good guys in the TV shows, and then make a good guy movie. I think that would be freaking epic. That's such a weird way to do it. You're building the universe just like the MCU did in the sense that I now care about characters, except now I care about the bad guys.
So,
and the DC universe is meant to be a darker universe, especially the one they're building. I know there's lighter versions.
Do Gotham first, and then just build everything.
Yeah, dude. Dude, Gotham. I know that people for whatever reason crap on that a little bit. Dude, I think Gotham was such a cool concept. I don't care how cheesy it was sometimes. I love that universe they built.
I just didn't like Barbara.
I don't care. The Barbara thing was weird.
If you think Gotham was cheesy, then you should never watch the Flash show, or the Green Arrow.
Exactly. I like all those though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
Gotham was way more tolerable than any of those shows.
Yeah, but I've heard enough people crap on it for whatever reason, and it's just like sometimes maybe
because it wasn't Batman.
Stuff,
that's why it wasn't Batman.
I don't care.
Why.
Like I
thought it was good. I thought it was good introducing the villains of Gotham, the whole mob scene.
But the thing that I wish they did was like that was the start for the Batman movie that should be made. Like I don't know why they wouldn't just try to capitalize on that. Like that's such a cooler way that like it's not cooler. It's just different. It's so different. It's kind of like I heard at one point they wanted to remake Indiana Jones with a woman. I'm like, why? You have Tomb Raider. Like that's already awesome. Like that's a totally different, very similar concept. That's so different. It's yours.
Yeah,
that's what the DCU should do. Start with the villains and then build the superhero world. That would be such a fucking epic way to do it. I want them to do that.
And it would actually be a much more grounded way to approach their kinds of stories, because in DC, even in their comics, like the superheroes are like gods. Like they're like so super powered that like.
That's why I
really compared to them.
That's kind of what I mean too, because the problem with the DCU, like I've said this for like even before like the first Iron Man movie came out, before this MCU was created, my main difference I realized was that the MCU is a much more believable version of the DCU, because literally DCU, it has Metropolis and Gotham, they're fake cities. In MCU, they've got New York City, right? Like they're literally basing them in reality from the beginning. Then you look at the characters. There's a Superman-like character. There's a Batman-like character. There's all these like characters, except that they're all actually vulnerable. They can all actually get hurt. Where like if you think about the Justice League, you have Superman, who's basically immune to everything except for one rock. Keep the rock away from him. He's indestructible. Then you have
magic.
Then you have the green. Yeah, I know, and magic, right? Then you have the Green Lantern, who can create anything that his will desires, which means if he is willful of everything,
he's cosmic. He's not even meant to be on one planet. Like he's supposed to be
he's so
taking
powerful.
a whole
he can take
sector.
care of an entire galaxy cluster, or something like that. It's supposed to be something crazy large. So we're losing. Damn. But yeah, like that's such a like overpowered version of what like the MCU equivalents are. And so to start off with these supervillains who can be there it is. Yeah, but yeah, like we were just saying, like he's supposed to protect like the cosmos, and instead, he's just on Earth, and they try to make that like it's a story.
Yeah, their heroes are just so much larger than life, and their villains actually have more of a grounded, realistic story as to why they became who they are. Like all of them, like Catwoman, Poison Ivy, like they all have, like even Lex Luthor.
First I was a boy, then I was a bat.
even Lex Luthor has like a really like you could tie in like again father's expectations. The whole rich boy complex. Like there's a whole bunch of these different psychological things that go into their villains that become more relatable to the average person. Like all of these other characters, like their superhero characters, are so like far above what's normal and what's like that's like we talked about it numerous times. That's why like Spider-Man is such a big hero, because he's probably one of the most relatable heroes of all.
That's 100% the reason why, because first off, he's a teenager, he's not an adult. That immediately connects with the reading audience. He's still dealing with high school problems, let alone trying to be a superhero, right? Like he has all of these things where he has to be worried about and like even the great power comes great responsibility. As a kid, like teaching kids responsibility, like that's something that even parents want their kids to read. Like it's such a powerful story.
He's like really the only superhero that like he is trying to balance both lives. Like really, like his story is half and half.
Yeah, like Batman, like he's a billionaire, so all he has to do is get wasted every once in a while. And
exactly.
Fine,
right? He just goes to a board meeting occasionally, and he
goes to a board meeting once a month, and he goes to a bar 3 times a month, and he's like, cool, everyone saw me.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, and that's what I mean too. Like Tony Stark, like one of the things I noticed was what is it? Iron Fist, the show.
Yeah.
It seems so weird. Like he had 10 years of training. He should be like an expert martial artist if that's all he did for 10 straight years. Like that would be insane. Like if you did nothing but train martial arts and you had like this inner power, you should be absolutely insane. Yeah, and
you have no other distractions. Like,
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like he should be ridiculous. And instead, they make him like a whiny little bitch, which is why the show like is not the best show. All they had to do was give him a little more like Batman style demeanor, and he would have been way better of a character, way more interesting of a character, because he kind of has the same story, right? Of the origin story. But you're right. Like with Iron Man, like he doesn't have the same origin story as Batman, but he has the same power set, and it just seems like even him flying around in a suit seems more viable than a bat who can fight Superman.
I like in terms of Iron Fist, I even like personifications of Iron Fist where he's kind of like an arrogant douche, and he's kind of like Luke Cage's sidekick in a way. Like he kind of like has that, like he has a little bit of the comic side of it. Like when you have the Iron Fist and Luke Cage team up, he's kind of like the comic relief, but also like he can back it up. Like he talks crap, or he's very lighthearted because he can get down to business really easily. And you don't get that in the Iron Fist show at all. Like
iteration of the reason he's supposed to be like that too is because he stopped his life at like 13.
Exactly.
He's meant to be a kid.
Right.
So he basically picture being like if you were 15, remember how kiddish you were? You're fucking around doing stupid stuff, and all of a sudden you're taught this amazing like picture watching Dragon Ball Z, and suddenly you are Goku.
Exactly.
Right? 20 years or 10 years late, I think it was 10 years. Right? It was 10 years he was gone. Right.
Yeah.
Like so like the whole point is like no, he's gonna be a kid. That makes perfect sense. Except he's extremely talented in martial arts. He would be like Goku, nearly indestructible, and his biggest weakness is like, no, let him power up all the way. You know, like, so like that's kind of the idea. Is like, yeah, he should have been like that. He wasn't. He was very much just a whiny little bitch like throughout it. But yeah. So, anyways, my whole point was like the Batman Tony Stark's version, right? Like of the billionaire with superpowers. Even flying around and creating AI seems more believable sometimes than what Batman does, where he's fighting off aliens and Superman. It's like, dude, like hand-to-hand combat with aliens that are supposed to be part of this god's army. I feel like that's a little over the top.
And then when you apply Batman to like the Justice League, where he literally like the weakest other people that are in that tower, like besides
Martian Manhunter, who can phase through walls and read minds. Yeah. He's the one of the weakest characters,
and he's like super powered, you know, like,
and he's like almost as strong as like I think he's like as strong as like Wonder Woman and Aquaman kind of strength. Like,
and the only other people again that are like him are like the Bat family. Like those are the only ones. I guess Green Arrow, you know what I mean? But
Green Arrow's not really in the Justice League. That like that's like he is, but like he's not a mainstay. He's not one of the go-to.
Not the seven. Yeah, he's not one of the seven.
The seven. the boys. Have you seen the boys?
Yeah.
The seven, yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that was what was the tangent? Why did we tangent off on that? That was a pretty long tangent.
Super long. We're like
almost just talking about 2 hours right now. So my whole point was like, because we can close it up on this. My whole point was that the Peacekeeper, who I was saying was the best character in it, like, and that's probably why they're making the show with him. Like, I didn't know they're making a show. That's awesome. Yeah. But like it's because of the fact that they're a more believable unit, and I really do hope, like maybe someone like James Gunn will like actually suggest that's the universe they build out and then introduce the heroes. Like literally right now, they made a Batman movie, and it's after Bloodsport somehow breaks out of prison to get his daughter, right? Like that would be fucking epic. Because think about it. Remember, damn it, who's the leader of the squad that blows up their heads? What's her name?
Amanda Waller.
Waller, yeah. So like if Waller, right, was gonna kill him anyways, like I'm sure that he already knows that, right? Like it would be interesting to start off the next movie. He breaks out, he somehow figures out how to deactivate it because maybe he shoots it. I don't know. Like he figures out some way to deactivate it to go save his daughter, who he knows they're gonna take because she's already threatened to kill her, right? Like that would be a super interesting way. And then have someone like Batman come in, he fights him. And Batman does the Joker thing, the immovable object, like he doesn't kill him, even though he's about to do something bad. Like that would be such an epic way to introduce the hero. Who's the Batman with the new Batman?
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, but who's the bad guy in that?
The Riddler.
The
Riddler. Yeah, exactly. Well, like the Riddler's one of those characters.
There might be like a few because like they
three.
Yeah, I'm sure there's guys. Yeah. I figured that anyways.
Penguin's in it.
Yeah, but the Riddler's the one who's supposed to be like the main bad guy, which is funny because every freaking Arkham game always has the Riddler as the side character that never leads to anything. You beat all the missions and nothing happens.
I can't wait for that movie.
But like, I love the Riddler. Like, I dressed up as the Riddler for like Halloween, like back in high school. I remember that. Like, I still have like the green. I remember I took clothes, I just ruined them. I spray painted them green. I took a Sharpie and I drew question marks all over them. I got a black hat. I spray painted the whole thing green. It was such an absorbing hat that it just absorbed all the paint and remained black. And so I had to spray paint it like 6 times to like coat it like it was a wall or something.
They're also making a show on HBO for that Batman movie.
That's awesome.
For GCPD.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So
that's
like,
so freaking cool.
Yeah, so like that Commissioner Gordon, I'm pretty sure it's that one.
That is awesome.
Like it's mostly about the villains and stuff. So
yeah, like Gotham. Like, that's so perfect. Like that's what I want.
Oh, so that guy, the guy that's playing Commissioner Gordon, he's gonna voice the Watcher in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that guy's really good in like everything.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that was a pretty solid spoiler alert, full of goodies there.
We could have went deeper in. To be honest, we got caught up on the characters and then tangented off and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe next week we can do a follow up. We'll do a part 3, and we could dive into the movie deeper. And we can go into our rating system and like why we rated it that way, what we thought about the rest of it. Because this has been a cool talk because we were able to bring in a lot of the DCU stuff into this and talk about like the world building that they're doing and like that we hope they're going to continue to do. Because like absolutely epic. And and like I said, I'll up my overall movie to like a 7.5. I can't quite give it an 8, but I also wanted to troll some of those people that just want to hate on people that have opinions.
The next episode is going to also be about just like DC stuff in general.
No, like, we can talk more about this movie and go deeper into the plot line. We went really deep into the characters, but not like the story and like what was going on. Like we mentioned the Star once, and it was about the butthole joke.
We should do a just like a live event during the week or something to like cap this because we should there's a lot of news that's going on right now in the in the industry and stuff. So we want to keep moving on that too.
Yeah. Maybe we do it like midweek then if you guys are free, like Wednesday or something.
Yeah, we could jump on a live. Let us know, people, when you want or when you can do a live or when we should do a live. PM, obviously it's going to be in the PM. But yeah, whenever.
Cool.